Good up.
This is Channel 253.
On this episode of the Grit and Grain Podcast.
You have to train your nose like it's a muscle. I mean, I've talked about that before. Yeah. Like, it's a muscle that you work out. And the only way to really do that is to smell the raw ingredients that might present themselves in the actual beers. So, like, what does grapefruit flesh or juice smell like versus zest? What about candied? What about dried? Knowing those differences and then how they present themselves in hops is a good way to gauge how they're going to present themselves in your beer.
Yeah.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you.
Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, coming to you guys from Peaks and Pints in Tacoma, Washington. Yeah, this is actually like a 2-week in a row thing, which we don't normally do. We're usually every other week, but we have some cool ones going on this week. My name is Matt McLaren. Thanks as always for hanging out. I'm here, of course, with Ron Swarner.
Hello.
How's it going, Ron?
Sticky, punchy, and one loud sniff away from circus enlightenment. I added that last second.
Of course you did. Jesus Christ.
I want to know about the circus.
Our resident pro brewer and line cleaner, Bethany Carlson, is in the house. What's up, Bethany?
Hello. What's up? Ron was saying circus stuff because I was talking before the episode that I had gone to the circus. It was the Bernardo Circus in Tacoma here. It was over Labor Day weekend, so everybody missed it. But it was so fun. I mean, it was a legit circus. The acrobatics were crazy. It was so fun. Like, I took my 6-year-old, and there was some kind of kid humor, but not too kiddie. Like, it wasn't. I was laughing, It was and serious acrobatic stuff. Like,
That's so
it was
cool.
really fun. Like the best sober fun I've had in so long. You know what I mean? Like
a solid threreshold for fun.
Yes. So highly
That's cool.
recommend.
I didn't know that happened here. That's so cool.
It was their 7th year in a row doing it, but this was the first year they did it. It was in that big. It's over by the ferry, but kind of that boat launch there on the hill. So it was up on that hill there.
Okay, I was trying to figure out where
you
this
noticed
was.
a big circus-looking tent. It was actually a circus in there, and they'll be back next year. So you should all get tickets.
We should.
I'm going.
It was really
field
fun.
Trip? Circus field trip.
Anywho, side note.
Hey, speaking of circus,
Yeah.
Doug, are we doing this thing?
Well, we're not going to visit Circus Peanuts on this episode. I need some fresh ones. But
Okay.
yeah, but I'm here on my.
But it is hilarious that you found some.
Yeah.
And they were
in a gas
tragically
station.
expired.
Oh yeah, they're.
On our fresh hop episode.
I know.
Yeah.
Those are supposed to be like marshmallows, aren't they?
Kind of.
This is Jolly Ranchers.
This is the thing about them. They're sort of indefinable.
All right.
But that's for another time.
Okay. The reason that this came up is because we were talking about German ale yeast and how it tastes like banana. And I did a homebrew recently where I stressed the yeast out and fermented it hot and under pitch so that I would get tons of banana flavor. And Doug does not like that. I almost brought some for you.
That's the one thing I don't. I try it.
I know you'll try it.
I just know myself well enough. Maybe you could drop one of these into the beer.
And you won't even know.
Kind of like a fresh hop.
Just garnish it with it. But yeah, I had no clue that Circus Peanuts flavors was banana.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how is this connected to
Yeah.
anything right now? Circus Peanuts and the banana. What are we talking about?
We went from the circus
right.
in Tacoma to German hef pretty quick.
Hang on,
actually.
everybody. This is our first episode, too, of
Yeah,
Double.
we're just getting started. We're 3 minutes in, folks.
Well, yeah. Thank you again for tuning in. Ron and I went on a field trip on Thursday. A pretty long 17-hour field trip to the Mecca of hops in Washington, and we're going to talk about it. I don't think I've ever really talked about hop selection as a process, but it's actually a pretty huge part of the beer industry. There's some funny kind of behind the curtains type of stuff that you just it's not really part of the like the front facing visuals of the industry. So most people don't even know that it's a thing that happens. But yeah, we went and hung out, and we figured we would tell you guys what it's like. But before we do that, what are you guys drinking? Bethany, what do you got?
15, which is the Ravenna
swim up bar
swim.
pale.
I was right behind you on all that.
Yeah.
Swim up bar hazy pale.
Yeah.
And
Hazy
it's
pale.
really good. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And then I'm about to dive into all the Weiss fresh hop beers down the list. But this was the first one I came upon. It's so good. Yeah.
Great foreshadowing for our next
Yeah.
episode.
Ron, what do you have?
I have the Great Notion Oktoberfest,
Man,
and it's delish.
How
I'm
goes
sure it
it?
is.
Yeah.
I almost
Yeah.
actually grabbed that. So I have Lad and Lass's Fresh Hop Triple IPA. Starting off with a triple IPA.
Holy moly.
Something I would do.
I know. I feel like a laser pointer wouldn't even make it through this. It's pretty thick. It's delicious.
Yeah.
And on point because we actually got to hang out with Nick Ladd while we
Yeah,
were in
so
Yakima.
he's
And it was
wonderful human.
wonderful. Yeah, he's great.
Except you got attacked by a bush
Uh-oh.
at Single Hill.
A drunken bush.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was late enough in the day where I forgot that even happened until you just
and
said
he
it.
did too. He was enjoying it.
Okay, yeah, so tell us about it. What'd you do?
Got in a minivan, went to Yakima.
Whose minivan?
We
Not
hitched
my
a ride.
minivan.
No, we hitched a ride with Barry from Lucky Envelope.
Awesome.
So we met him at the brewery at like 6, and then we hit the road, and then got over to Yakima by like 9ish. I guess we hit the road at like 6:30. But yeah, got over to Yakima by 9. Grabbed a quick cup of coffee. The best cup of coffee I think I've ever
Yeah,
had.
me too.
At Aventura.
I mean,
Coffee.
straight up Americano was amazing.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Aventura Coffee.
Aventura.
Yeah, and they just got it was funny because we went in and Barry and Matt, who's the other brewer at Lucky Envelope, walked in and they have their uniform on, and he was like, "Oh shit, you guys are from Lucky Envelope," which is funny to hear in like a coffee shop because you're just like you're not sure if you're gonna run into a beer nerd, but he was like, "Dude, we were just there like a few days ago," and that was really funny. But Aventura just got their liquor license so that they can serve beer on draft, and so they were like, we're trying to put our stuff together, and of course Barry started making sales. So
Well, they're going to take it to 11.
yeah, it was
Add
so
in
good.
beer.
Yeah, best cup of coffee I think I've ever had.
That's in Ballard.
No, it was in Yakima.
Oh,
It was like when
Yakima.
we got to Yakima, because we had
okay.
our first appointment wasn't until like 9:30 or so, so we had a half hour to kill. So we were just like, let's just go grab a cup of coffee and like a snack or something, and it just ended up being like the best way to start the day.
We made it by 1 minute.
Yeah. So yeah, our first appointment was at Haas, which was awesome. So we actually shout out to Ricky. Ricky was there teaching the class. Yeah.
Because there is a hop academy there.
Yeah, Hop Academy is going on right now. So like industry and like maybe even non-industry folks are going there and like learning about everything about hops.
How long is that class?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good
A
question.
week?
Oh,
few days?
it's like a full day.
A
It's
day?
one
Like
full
9 to
day.
5.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, and Ricky's the teacher. I bet that's amazing.
Because of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty cool setup they have at Haas with the brewery and the education and everything. It was like a convenience store when we arrived. We could get chiclets and Band-Aids and mouthwash and
That is true, actually.
suntan lotion and
Circus peanuts?
No, yeah, that was the only thing they were missing, honestly.
Yeah.
No, they like so like the game plan for anybody coming in is like you're checking in at like their main location, and then like Haas will have like other buildings and farms and like processing areas and like staging areas where you might go and actually like check out the hops that you're selecting from. But you got to like go and sign in, and then everybody will be like assigned a salesperson or something like that. So they'll have like different representatives who are essentially like your tour guides. So they spend a few weeks in Yakima. There's really like a 10-week or 10-day to like 2-week span where like hundreds of breweries are coming in and doing this, and they all connect with a salesperson. You get like a quick tour. You do this. It's it's kind of a long day, but yeah, you're like the whole thing is that you're walking around these different areas. So when you go in, they actually have like a little setup with like sunscreen and like lotion and aspirin, and then Underbergs right at the very end. Also,
course.
I forgot about that.
because they know.
Yeah.
Because they know. But yeah, they prep you for what is going to be like a long day of like, you know, you might be actually going to see the farm. You might just be going to see like processing plant areas. You might be going to see like packaging stuff, but it's a lot of walking and it's a lot of just kind of touring the facilities that these guys all, you know, manage.
And we scored a great guide too.
Yeah, Melissa's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, so I've never met Melissa in person, but from 500 feet away, she looks like Shauna Cormier.
She does.
And I almost yelled Shauna. Yeah. But I was, in my head, I was like, you know what? She's not the only like redhead in this industry. I should just fucking relax. Yeah. And I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Is she married to Chris Baum?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
She... I
thought there was a relationship.
Michael says yes.
Michael says yes.
Okay. Yeah, there's a relationship with Varietal.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Varietal has a lot of ties to the hop industry, I guess.
Yeah.
But yes, that does make sense. Melissa's awesome. She was so sweet and like, you know, just knew exactly what to do and what to say. And she's been in the industry for like over a decade. But she said she was relatively new to Haas.
Yeah.
So
Haas is what, 1914, something like that?
For the,
it's been
the actual farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we got there, got like all checked in. So we were actually meeting, so we rode along with Barry, but we were also there with there was two brewers from Isakado, really fantastic brewery from Japan. So the importer that we work with brings their stuff into Washington, so I sell their beer as well. So I sell Barry's beer and I sell Isakado's beer. But those two are actually, they just brewed a collab beer. So on Monday I was up at Lucky Envelope, and they brewed, so Isakado is a tea house. The original business was a tea house and it opened in 1575 and it's still standing and still serving tea and still serving like the same mochi that it used to serve like in the 1500s. Jeez. And it's one of the longest standing, still running businesses in like Japan, but also maybe the world.
What part of Japan?
Man, I wish I could. I think it's Mie, but I cannot remember the exact area of Japan. And then...
But John McKinnon was with them, right?
Yes. So John's... This is funny. I was joking with John about this. So I actually hung out with John down at Firestone because he was down there with Yoho and one of the other breweries that he works with. So John has actually been in the beer industry for like, I don't know, almost 3 decades, and exclusively as an exporter of American hops to foreign breweries, mostly to Japan. So
he speaks the language, right?
He does, yeah. He speaks, as far as I know, yeah. But yeah, he's been in the industry for a long time, and he's like the sweetest guy ever. But he's also really funny because like I don't even know if I told this story on here. I might have. But when we were hanging out down at Firestone, John was with us, and he's like, you know, he's been in the industry for a while. He's probably nearing retirement age, but fucking hangs like anybody you've ever met. And so like me and my owner Toshi were like tired by 10 o'clock, and like the Japanese brewers who are here like to hang out and have a good time and like see what's up, we're like, no, let's go to like the steakhouse, let's go out into the bar afterwards. And Toshi and I were like just being fucking wet blankets, but John was like, no man, I'm ready, let's go. And he like, yeah, he just made us look like bitches. But it's also funny because like him and I work like, I don't know, not even 25 minutes away from each other, I think, but we only ever see each other when we're hours away from from Seattle.
Somewhere else. So
yeah, he was there too. With the Isakado guys. He's been working with that brewery for like 27 years, wow, which is wild. Yeah. So yeah, Takuma and Atsuo was there. Yeah. And they're, fantastic. So the beer that they're making with Lucky Envelope is a green tea infused hazy IPA with tea that they actually source from their tea house.
Wow.
Yeah. It's going to be fucking awesome.
Very cool.
I smelled it. And then we made tea out of it on Monday morning. And it was like, it's the best green tea that I've ever tried.
Cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. So super pumped. I'll let you know when that's out, Ron.
Thank you. And we were smelling Citra there?
So, hops, we were smelling Citra.
Yeah.
So for you guys, hops, the whole process of hop selection, it can vary from like farm to farm, but in general, what you're doing is tasting. You're doing sensory analysis of like this raw ingredient so that you can kind of like plan out what your next brewery year is going to be. You might be tasting for contracts that you're going to sign for like a certain number of hops. Some places will have minimums on like purchasing, this many pounds of hops per lot. And then some places like Haas will do blends where the minimums are a lot lower because they can put many different lots together to create like certain sensory outcomes. So, but the idea is you, as a brewery, your team, your actual brewer, your assistant, whoever, you're coming out and you're smelling the ingredients that you're planning on putting in your beers. So if you make like a flagship IPA, like a West Coast IPA, and you want it to be like dank and grapefruity and like have this really kind of classic like piney character, you'll tell your salesperson that from whatever farm you're planning on meeting, and they'll put together lots for you that might actually contribute to those flavors, and then maybe one or two that are a little bit different so you can kind of compare them. Or if you're Haas, you might put together blends of different lots of the same hop so that that flavor profile that you described to them will be like consistent in the actual blend. So that's what we did at Haas. So we were tasting Citra. Barry uses Citra in all kinds of beers.
We were smelling.
Smelling. I know.
So many smells.
I was licking my sticky hands.
Trying not to lick it.
So many washings of the hands.
Yeah, dude, just the alcohol. My hands were so dry. So yeah, it's like silly to think like, oh, why do you need lotion when you're, smelling hops for 17 hours? You can't clean your hands unless you use an isopropyl alcohol mix, so they fucking dry out so quickly, and it's like itchy and painful, and hops can be irritating.
Doesn't oil work? Can't you use like coconut oil or something?
Yeah, you probably could, but
and then wash your hands. Obviously.
Yeah, and then some of the oils though can be like fat, or some of the compounds can be fat soluble too. So you don't want to you want it to be totally raw.
You should do the alcohol and then the oil and then the candle wash. That's what I would do. And then you can keep your moisture.
Well, you can come with us next time.
I know you should come. Honestly, we really could have used you because I feel like your palate is like so good, and we agreed on a lot of things, but then there was like some dissent amongst the team. And I don't know. We could have used an extra person, I think, who knows how to do this.
Some extra nostrils.
Extra nostrils.
Count my nostrils in next year.
Perfect.
That sounds fun. Yeah, I never did it with any of the breweries I was at. Never got to go do
really
that.
Fun.
Yeah,
really fun.
How did you guys? So for the breweries that you worked at, how did your like hop contracts work?
Good question. I didn't have anything to do with them.
It was all
RAM.
just. Oh, really?
And then at Pacific Wood, there weren't really a lot of hop contracts.
It was just use what you could get,
there?
basically.
We just ordered. It's a crapshoot. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we didn't have like a real control over. Which farm we got it from or anything. Sure.
So there's so like on the other side of that, you guys have all heard us talk about like Ezra Meeker. We did like a long thing about Puyallups project for preserving Ezra Meeker's legacy as like a hop broker. And so that's kind of what Bethany's talking about, is like there's a version of this where if you're not participating in hop selection, you're probably just talking to a broker who might be collecting different things from different farms and just kind of giving you a list of what they have, and then you might be buying things based on that. So there's ways to do that successfully, but if you're a brewery that's looking for consistency over like the next year of batches of your flagship West Coast or your Pilsner, it's tough to achieve that kind of consistency maybe just working through a broker, unless you like really trust them and they know exactly what you're looking for. But there's plenty of breweries who do it that way too. For when we went to, we were at Haas and we smelled 4 blends of Citra. And it was interesting because they were all really, really different. And it was clear that they were aiming for like different sensory outcomes with each blend. But it's crazy to think that like one farm growing one hop between these lots and then putting blends together can make 4 like very distinctly different blends of the exact same ingredient. So we tried through all 4, and then one of them was like super dank, very old school, almost like a little bit of like oniony, garlicky, which it can like sometimes be an off flavor. That's like a little bit of like oxidation or like isovaleric acid can kind of come from that sort of thing, which might present as like cheesiness or savoriness in your beer. But onion and garlic is like that like sort of allium character is pretty normal for like old school, really dank hops. So if you're trying to make like an old PNW IPA that's maybe like a tribute to like Old Lucille or something, you might go for a blend that does that. And then they had one that was like super delicate, like tropical fruit, so like way more ripe, almost like smelled sweeter. It was like pineapple-y. And then they had one blend that was like sharp, punchy citrus, like just candied lemon zest, tons of grapefruit. It was like all these different citrus characters. And so that was the one that Barry ended up going with.
Number
like,
2.
Yeah, it's a hop blend 2.
And number 3
I'm glad
was,
you took notes.
was close. 3 was close.
Yeah, 3 was close. And it's funny because like you can tell like the season of beer drinker or even beer maker that they're trying to appeal to with these different things. So like Barry and Matt, who are both fantastic brewers and maybe have like proclivities towards like very balanced, very delicate flavors that showcase ingredients in a really clear way. They are like opting for these much more subdued and like elegant hop aromas. Whereas like am like, hey man, I have to sell this to the general public. Get the one that's citrus on steroids. That's the one that I want.
That's the one I like.
Yeah.
Do you have to train your nose for this process?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's tough to do it without training your nose to do this. Because
I mean, I had a little bit of difficult time.
It's hard because I was curious about this actually when you were doing this, because this is your first time doing hop selection.
Yeah.
Although I know you've rubbed hops,
Yeah.
right? But trying the exact same hop from different lots or different blends from the same farm, like even I just getting into it before I really like primed myself, I was like, there is no difference between these fucking 4 blends.
It's so nuanced. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so nuanced, and you have to like, you have to train your nose like it's a muscle. I mean, I've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Like, it's a muscle that you work out. And the only way to really do that is to smell the raw ingredients that might present themselves in the actual beers. So, like, what does grapefruit, flesh, or juice smell like versus zest? What about candied? What about dried? Knowing those differences and then how they present themselves in hops is a good way to gauge how they're going to present themselves in your beer.
Yeah.
There are changes that happen between like, hops that are in your hand and getting rubbed and then pelletized and actually brewed with. So a really good brewer can take hops and pull tons of flavor out of them, and a bad brewer can have great hops and not be able to pull quite as much out. So it just depends. But if you're doing something like this, like I think it does take some training for sure.
A couple times you do 1 or 2 or 3 sniffs, and then there was the times when you do 10 and 12 sniffs of the same hop.
Yeah, and you're like, this isn't. I'm like, I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
And then everybody around you is like saying things, and you're like, fuck, do I smell that? I don't think I smell that. Maybe I do smell that. I'm just going to say I smell that.
And then you're doing the sideways glance at their sheets. That's what I smell too.
Yeah, that's the other thing is there's, in general, like the etiquette is so they line them all up on a table, they take all the blends, they dump them out, and then you kind of just do like a little rotation. You take a lap, and you go through each one, and you rub them together. And then if you guys aren't familiar, like the way that you like do sensory analysis on hops is you take like a big handful and you just fucking beat the shit out of them. You rub them together, all the leaves and stuff fall off, and then what's left in your hand is like sticky, oily mess, but that's all the glands and everything releasing all that goodness. So that's what you're actually smelling. And there's different ways to like do it to get as much as you can out of it. So like sometimes you're smelling 12 inches away and you're like, what am I getting here? Yeah. Sometimes you're doing this and then accidentally just inhaling hops, which are very irritating to sinuses.
Sometimes you blow out and it goes everywhere.
Sometimes you sneeze.
So Barry picked. So what happens after that? So Barry picks it, and all the hops have been pelletized already, and then they're actually doing the blends that people are picking, and so they know like who wants what blend, or they're already blended, and they.
So they're already blended. And so like Haas does this specifically, and they do it to make it easier actually for brewers who are maybe in a situation like you were, who maybe didn't do like long-term contracts and were just like spot purchasing. I don't think they're the only ones that do this, but they do these specific blends because that way it's easy for brewers to have access to consistency without buying specific lots. So if you're another farm who you have Mosaic from lot 412, and then you have Mosaic from lot 113. Those can be really, really different. But if you're not signing contracts for those specific lots and buying like a minimum amount, like you guys weren't, then it's hard to know if you're gonna have access to the same flavor profiles. So what Haas does is they put the blends together, and then maybe you come and try them one time, and then next year you can't go out there and do that. So they're like, okay, cool. Well, blend 2 and 3 and 4 didn't change at all, and you chose 2 last time. It's gonna be the exact same this time because we have sensory experts who blend these together. So you can just buy 2 again, and then it's consistent.
That was kind of going to be my layman's question, which is how, if somebody has a product that needs to be consistent, how easy is it for them to return to the marketplace and get something that is pretty much exactly what they've had before?
I mean, it's like the hop industry is so developed that, like, Bethany brewed the same place for a long time. You made very consistent beer. And so I think it's relatively easy. The systems are set up where, like, people shouldn't be getting burned, but there's kind of this extra level, I think, of analysis and control that I think brewers would like to have access to, and that's what hop selection is for mostly. Maybe we're just kind of joking about it. Like, it's one of the weirdest things that the beer industry does in a way, because, like, there's folks like Ricky. Ricky's a special case because she's a fucking genius and has an insane palate. But there are people who could put blends together. There are labs that do compound analysis, and you could take these hops that have these specific compounds, blend them together, and get the same numbers out of everything. Yeah. And then you do get consistency. But if you're a head chef, if you're the lead contractor, if you're the head brewer, there's a level of control that you have to have over the process. And I feel like some of hop selection is geared towards that. Like, it's practical, absolutely, but I don't think it's totally impossible to get good hops, without doing this process.
Interesting.
We also had some extra credit sniffs.
We did, yeah.
Wasn't Galaxy at Haas?
Did we do Galaxy? Oh, yeah, we did Galaxy pellets at Haas.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, Galaxy is, damn. I know, I could just do this for so long.
I know. It is actually break time. We're actually there.
Son of a bitch.
Wait, hold on. What did you guys use for the palate cleanser? Was it coffee beans, or what did you guys smell like in between?
No palate cleansers.
Yeah.
Just nothing?
No palate
just
cleansers.
Air?
Just honestly,
Coming up for air.
I was smelling Matt.
That's a bummer.
Stick his armpit up.
After a 3.5-hour car ride, so I run. Yeah, so after every rub, you're going and spraying alcohol on your hands, and so that does just waft into your face, and probably works as a palate cleanser. But then it's a bummer too, because, like, you're rubbing your hands up. It's so funny because these crazy, like, industrial strength paper towels just get so yellow and green by the end of it. But yeah, you do, like, waft that in, and then your hands smell like alcohol for a minute, and then you go back.
Your forearms itch like crazy.
You got to make sure you're not, like, wearing Old Spice in the morning too, right?
No, that's bad form, dude. Okay. Yeah, that's hop selection taboo. Yeah, same with beer judging. All right, well, we'll gush about Galaxy as soon as we get back, but hang out for just a minute. We'll be back.
This is Eric Hanberg with Channel 253.
I'm Doug Mackey.
And Doug Mackey asked to keep this short, so here it is. $4 a month, $40 a year, supports Channel 253. Go to channel253.com/membership.
More so, we'd like to thank our members, especially our long-time members.
Now it's too long.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out during the break. As always, a shout out to Doug, our wonderful producer.
Cheers.
Makes
Thanks,
Doug.
Doug.
Cheers.
Thanks for being on mic this week. We're short of Phaedra this week because she's not feeling super good, and that's very sad. But she'll hopefully be back in 2 weeks. Shout out to Chris for putting us on video every week. Hopefully you guys have gone and subscribed on YouTube. Even if you don't watch us on YouTube, please just go and hit the subscribe button. I hate saying that because it sounds silly, but honestly, it does help so much. And the more eyes and ears we can get on the podcast, the better. And then I know you guys heard it on the break, but absolutely go check out Channel 253. Amazing way to stay connected. All the best news in Tacoma happens right there. And it's honestly, like I said before, if you're stuck in traffic and you want to stay productive, that's a good way to do it. And times are crazy, and independent media and journalism is pretty important.
Yep.
Speaking of which, if you prefer your news written and more beer flavored, shout out to Washington Beer Blog. Kendall's awesome. You guys have heard him on the podcast before.
He posted something today. I can't remember what it was.
The Rubens NA line is really cool. Like, yeah. Ooh. So, we love Kendall. If you want more beer news, that's a great place to get it. He's been doing this for way longer than we have.
For sure.
He's very good at it. And then I'm going to give a sad shout out. So the beer industry lost an absolute titan yesterday. Burke from Beer Authority kind of unexpectedly had some health issues and passed away, which is super sad. Yeah. That dude held down the craft beer world in that area for quite some time. There are people who drink craft beer because of that guy's influence. So yeah, send if you know Burke, obviously send him your positive thoughts. They're doing a pub crawl at Beer Authority, and they're going to help raise some money for some causes that Burke really cared about over the years. So go to Beer Authority's social media or website to check that out.
Definitely check that out.
Yeah, that was a bummer day, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Alex Gannum at Upright Brewing. He just posted about their fucking closure too. And who else? Jordan from Black Plague posted about their
and
closing.
From the Netherlands.
Yep. Yeah, man, it's getting crazy, and plenty of fantastic and in some ways legendary breweries are starting to shutter. So hopefully everybody out there is finding ways to stay with the waves. But where were we? Oh yeah, we were talking about wearing perfume at beer judging.
Yeah. Well, first new beers.
Oh yeah,
Right,
we do have
Ron,
new beers. I'm
what do you
sorry.
have?
So this barley wine is from Bottle Logic. It's called Flesh to Stone.
It's a very evocative name.
Yeah.
Bottle Logic's amazing. I can't imagine this is going to be amazing. Damn, that's delicious. Yep.
It's kind of bright and fruity.
It kind of is
Yeah.
actually. It's like less rich
Stone
than I
fruit.
expected.
Yeah,
I imagine.
It's like chocolatey.
Can you imagine? It's probably in there.
Yeah.
Is your nose still wrecked from Thursday?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I thought you were talking about my nose from the last episode,
Oh,
that reached the table.
Does anyone know? Does anyone know what he's talking about? You gotta go back and
At
watch
some
it. You gotta
point,
go
yes.
back on YouTube and watch
yeah,
it.
the
you
video?
gotta watch it.
Better go subscribe.
The crystal stalactite.
New beer name I call it.
Yeah. I was reading and I just couldn't. I didn't even know
You
what
were
was
in
happening.
the moment.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
you were in the
You were
zone.
locked
Beautiful.
in.
Yeah.
I have Vice's Linoleum Fresh Hop. It is amazing. It is so
can't wait
good.
to fucking
It's like
drink that
so.
beer.
I don't really know. I don't know what linoleum is supposed to taste like, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
Well, I've
Kiwi-
fallen down a couple of times and it's not great.
Wait, is that the right hop? Did I say that right?
Which one?
Is it linoleum?
No, that's not the hop. That's the beer.
No. What? Oh,
What hop?
it's not the hop. I don't know what hop is it. Oh, Chinook.
Crosby
Oh,
Chinook.
okay.
We're
I
gonna
was
talk more
thinking-
about it on the next episode, but
Yeah.
It shows you how not in the beer industry I am anymore. But it's very kiwi and melony, and we'll talk
I smell
more
it?
about it on the next episode.
Can I smell
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Thank you.
it's
There
very
he
good.
goes smelling again.
Okay, anyways, yes, wearing perfume during any kind of beer
Sensory
judging or
thing.
sensory thing is a no-no.
Bad
Also,
form.
I always love when places have unscented hand soap, because even when you're doing stuff like that, you can start to just smell the soap on your hands. Or if you're wearing like chapstick or anything, and if it's like minty, I've
Yeah.
gotten in trouble before by Trevor for that.
Trevor fucking would.
and Greer, but like first it was Trevor, and he'd be like, "Are you fucking wearing mint chapstick again?" So like I literally have unscented chapstick for that reason, because when you're
You had some Trevor trauma.
yeah, but it's a real thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes someone cozies up to the bar with all the polo, and it just destroys the beer.
Sure.
Four seats down on each side.
get out of here with that.
Hey man, that's not what this is for.
Yeah.
Take that to Applebee's.
Where do you think you are?
Peaks and
Okay.
Pines A for this.
No.
Back to Yakima. Where were we with hop
Galaxy.
blending?
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy.
So yeah, they brought out some Galaxy. They brought out pelletized Galaxy. So for when you're like doing hop selection, you can get kilned hops that are like whole flower. That's pretty common. But you can also get like pellets. Pellets are like compressed and processed, and they're honestly really hard to like do the rub thing. So they actually had pestles and mortars for you to like grind up, and yeah, it was much better.
Yeah, but we were like witches.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Or drug processors. We were all just like standing there, like stirring, and and so you like grind up the Galaxy, and then but the bowl is just, I mean, packed with this insane aroma. Barry ended up buying some Galaxy, buying some Citra while we were there.
Yeah.
He essentially locked in his contracts for those. So he's like, as soon as he finds the one, he's like, all right, 50 pounds of that, 100 pounds of that. It's just, he can like set aside his allotment essentially for.
Is this the
whatever
time
beers
to
he
talk
wants to
about
brew.
Barry and being a brewer magnet?
He
literally has 10 people around him at all times.
Yeah, he's very popular. And you wouldn't know it because he's just very sweet and humble and everything. And he's the opposite of any kind of rock star attitude you can imagine.
Yeah.
But like Barry knows everybody. Everybody loves Barry, not only because he makes great beer, because he's just lovely. But yeah, I mean, I think Barry is probably one of those people who's like, you know, a lot of brewers' favorite brewer.
Yeah.
He does interesting beers. Dude fucking won a GABF medal his first year open with a Helles lager, which is heinous.
Yeah.
That's very tough to do. So yeah, I think he is just you know, Mr. Popular in the industry.
You guys are like, well, we drove here with him.
Exactly.
We came with him. We're going home with him.
Ron and I actually kind of just peeled off a little bit, and we're just like, you know what, you enjoy this.
Yeah. At Haas, the Holy Mountain crew was there.
Oh yeah, we got to hang out with Colin.
Stemma was there also.
Yeah. Yeah, got to see Colin, who, if you guys haven't gone back far enough, he was like one of our earliest episodes, Colin from Holy Mountain. But yeah, we hung out with those guys in the pub. And the pub at Haas is really cool. So Haas has multiple facilities. So we actually jumped in Melissa's truck and drove to their second facility because they have like their big, you know, it looks like a building on the university campus. It's like a very nice building, and they have their classrooms, and they have this fucking state-of-the-art brewery that's like clean and shiny, and it's just like a brewer's wet dream. And then you also have like a little tap room at the end with like everybody brings their beers and they fill up the cooler.
Yeah.
And then
The cooler is awesome.
yeah. And they make beer at Haas. They have brewers at Haas who are very talented, whose entire job is to make these hops hit the way that they're meant to. And that's a really specific skill to have, and like a really specific driver behind like a brewer's intentions. So they're serving these beers that are like single hop pale ale with you know, HBC blah blah blah, and it's like brand new hops and beers that are brewed specifically to express them, and it's super cool. It's like really fun to hang out in a tap room that's just designed for that.
You can order a crush or a dulcida.
Yeah.
Or,
What size system is that little system? That sounds like a dream job.
It was honestly, it's in a bigger room. They're smaller tanks, but it's in a bigger room than you expect.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how big the actual system is.
We couldn't take pictures.
Nope, no video, no pictures.
Yeah.
Although we tried a fucking beer. So this was the last thing that we did at Haas before we left was they had just produced, they had just finished a hop that was designed to taste like mango. And there's a lot of hops that have like, you know, kind of stone fruity, like ripe mango, kind of like undertones. Usually it's like a supporting flavor to like an overall tropical hop profile. This hop, I've never tasted or smelled a beer that didn't have mango in it that smelled as much like mango as this beer did. It was like so distinct, and it was really cool talking to like some of the researchers and the brewers, because their philosophy over the years has kind of become stuff that like we've talked about on the podcast is I call it composition, but they talked about producing ingredients that sort of have targeted, centralized, singular flavor profiles that you can kind of support with other ingredients underneath. So they don't want a hop that's like melon and citrus and mango and stone fruit and blah blah blah, and like muddy and, you know, really really difficult to pin down what you're actually tasting. They are like, we want mango, that's it. And so we're going to produce to get mango. And then if you want to accentuate that in some way, use other hops to get there. And that was like the thesis of this particular product. And it was so good. It was awesome.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool. That was like the last thing we did. And it was like super cool. But yeah, no pictures, no video of their secret fancy brewery.
And then we went to Hollenberry.
Then we went to Hollingberry. Hollingberry was amazing.
It was.
I really enjoyed that. It's like an older building, 100% haunted.
For sure, downstairs.
100% haunted. So we talked to Ricky. We told Ricky that we were going there, and she was like, oh my God, you guys have to go downstairs. And we were like, why? And she's like, it's so haunted. And like, people say that, and it's just like, it's probably just old. This place is fucking haunted. Yeah. They have like every old machine still sitting there, every old tool that's like rusty and crazy, and like just... It would be not super surprising to hear like ghost rattling chains in the corner or something.
Sure.
Like it just had that vibe. It was like old mine shaft shit, and like it was awesome.
1926 is when they opened.
Yeah.
Wow.
which is insane. And that's the year some of those tools were made. Hollingberry was great. So we hooked up with Juno, who has worked with Hollingberry for a few years. He does some of their sales for a lot of like their East Coast and like Midwest breweries. But he also is the proprietor of Arbiter Brewing, which a lot of folks wouldn't be familiar on this side, but if you're listening from that side of the country, you might be. But those guys won, similar to Barry, first year out of the gate, won some GABF and I think World Beer Cup medals. They're absolutely phenomenal. But he brought some of his beer. He brought a Korean rice lager that was like one of the best lagers I've had, I think, all year. It was fucking incredible. 27% rice in the mash, which is crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah. he's like every brewery that or everybody who thinks that brewers use rice and corn to save money on their beer has no fucking idea how expensive these ingredients are. But yeah, he was so nice. And so it was cool to go from Haas to Hollingberry because you went from a place where we were trying blends of different lots that were put together by folks like Ricky and other sensory experts to just trying lots. So we were smelling Mosaic by lot. Yeah. Yep. And so Mosaic, if you guys have ever had Lucky Envelope's ENIAC IPA, fucking amazing IPA. And it's all Mosaic, or it's mostly Mosaic. And so that's mostly what we were smelling for.
From Hollingberry.
Yeah.
From Hollingberry.
I need to backtrack a little bit. It's 1946 that they opened.
Oh, okay.
The 1926 is when Babe Hollenberry was at Wazoo.
Oh.
He was the coach for like 17 years, and he lost 14 games
In
17 years.
God
Wow.
damn.
And then he left and started the hop farm.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a level of achievements I can't imagine. That's awesome.
They won the Rose Bowl in 31, I think. 31.
Damn. Mid-prohibition.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, fuck, prohibition's over. Let me go and start this.
Yeah, how do
See
you
what
go
I can
from
get it.
football to
Yeah, I don't know.
hops? Okay.
Just relentless
Just down the
pursuit
road.
of greatness. And now 100 years later, his hop farm is like, dude, some of the coolest hops that we smelled that day were at Hollingberry. So we did our Mosaic thing, and that was super cool because it was lot specific. So you were trying Mosaic from, this numbered lot, and we tried 4 of them, just like we tried the blends at Haas, but they were all distinctly different.
Different?
Yeah,
I was going to say,
super
how
different.
were they? Yeah.
Probably more different than the blends were at Haas, which is crazy because I guess I would think that the blends would be more ubiquitous across variants, but the Mosaic from each lot was just so different.
Didn't we smell Zappa also?
Zuma.
Zuma.
Yeah. Fucking awesome. And then like the MVP of the day was Tangier.
Tangier.
Yeah.
Because it's in Pliny the Younger.
That might do it. Yeah. So we were like, so you once you kind of get your contract hops that you're gonna have for the rest of the year, then it's like, okay, cool. What hops do I want to make like a fun beer with? I only need 50 pounds of this particular hop to make a really cool beer. So like, what else do you have? So they were calling it the fun rub table because they're hilarious. But there's a table that has a bunch of fucking random hops that you might be interested in for one reason or another. And they had great stuff on there.
And it's very close to the refrigerator of
all the beers. Yeah. It's really just arm's length.
Yeah, totally.
But so Juno was like, hey, I'll bring out some pellets of this, or I'll bring out some flowers of that. We have a little bit of this left. And the only one that he was like, I can let you guys smell Tangier, but it's already sold out, which is like, that's crazy.
It's a Russian River.
Yeah, probably. fucking Vinny.
Wait, were they blind? Did you know what you were smelling? On
Yes,
the
we did.
Fun rub table?
We always knew what we were
at
smelling.
the fun rub table, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun to do like a blind rub, wouldn't it? And be like, who wants this?
More
like
fun.
not knowing
Not knowing what it is.
what it is?
Yeah. Because then every brewer would just pick Simcoe. That's all they want.
Like, okay, let's try it again.
Nobody else
Never
wants
mind.
anything else. It's just going to be Simcoe. Yeah, so he puts the Tangier in front of us, and he's like, now you can't buy it because it's already sold out, which of course just hypes it up.
Yeah.
And we fucking smell this hop, and I've never smelled anything like this.
Wonderful.
It was similar to what I was just saying about Haas and their mango hop. This was so distinctly lemon and lime, like Sprite It was unfucking believable. And it immediately became clear why everybody who smelled it was like, yep, give me the minimum, however much I can take. Because it was just like so perfect. There was like no off flavors. I really should say that like there was no stinkers all day. Every hop that we smelled was really good. Yeah. It's really common to go there and do lots and then get hops that are like just fucking armpits and gym socks, and that totally happens. And like sometimes it's a good thing because like you need something to compare the really good ones to, but like everything that we smelled that day from Haas and from Hollingberry would have had a totally valid use, like legit, which is really cool. But it also makes deciding hard. The Tangier was just like a totally different level, though. So distinct, lemon, lime, Sprite, and it was like, immediately clear why this hop sold out so quickly. Yeah. It was so cool.
I don't think I've ever smelled a bad hop, though. I don't think I've ever smelled a bad hop rep.
They're pretty, they can. I have, yeah. Well,
I smelled bad beer after it's like not brewed with properly. You get bad.
I've definitely had beer with bad hops. Like isovaleric acid is so fucking cheddar cheesy that it's just, it smells like a fondue pot. It's like so clear. It's bad. It's old in Sumner of all places. had a beer with a pretty cheesy hop character. But you'll get hops that are really oniony, really garlicky. I don't like that, and I don't really like that in beer. There are things about that might contribute to like a really classic West Coast IPA or Northwest IPA feeling. And sometimes those things won't even come through so much in beer. They're a sulfur-based compound that can be pretty volatile. So after you pelletize it, after you brew it, you might not get as much of that.
Sometimes I get melony, sort of. Like it doesn't, Sometimes it gets more fruity.
There was one mosaic that was fucking armpits. Like it wasn't like super heavy to where it's like, this is totally useless, but it was pretty distinct, like body odor, like and it was, if it was a little bit higher in threshold, it would have been worse for sure.
Potato.
We saw a lot of brewers at Hollingberry.
Yeah,
so
there was
Kevin and Lisa came in, and Colin came over, and Colin, and a bunch of, it was a lot of, towards the end before we went to Single Hill, it was kind of turned into a party.
Where did we drink at then? So we went to Single Hill.
Yeah,
we went to Single Hill.
We had to go to Single Hill.
Why did we go to Single Hill, Ron?
To taste the energy cone, everyone.
And is that out now?
It is out, and it's stellar.
Yeah,
it really turned out
tremendous every year.
How do you? Yeah,
I think the first year they made it, it immediately won.
It won gold
at GABF.
Yeah, this one could do well.
That's pretty fucking good. I've had a couple of standout fresh hops this year so far, and that's probably in the top 3, I would say. It's really good.
I agree.
Single Hills, undisputed kings of fresh hop, I think, at this point.
And that's where everybody gathers at the end of the day, too, after smelling.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys going anywhere else? Bale-breaker? Or?
No,
just those 3 places in 17 hours.
Yeah, I know. Most of the time just driving. But you do, you start smelling pretty much right when you get there, and the palate fatigue is real. We ended up eating, I guess, kind of an early dinner. There was a little ramen pop-up at Single Hill, which was fucking awesome. Nice. Which, I don't know, if I think of, pop-up tent food spots at a brewery, I'm not thinking ramen, but it was so good.
It was. And our buddy Brian from Link joined us.
Yeah, he did.
He was there.
Yeah, we drunkenly complained about how people market fresh hop season.
Yeah. And he drunkenly explained it.
He did. Dude. He made me rethink so hard about how fresh hop season, the optics of fresh hop season.
I'm totally changing Fresh Hoptoberfest next year.
Yeah, I'm changing the way that I talk about it with people next year.
How so?
Don't start September 1st. Start in the middle of the month and then go to the middle of October.
So it's going to be hard to do, but his whole thing was this is a conversation we had at a fucking bar table over a beer. So we're idiots and we're dumb. But his whole thing was fresh hop season as one kind of event or idea is a little weird. because it should be kind of chopped up into the hops that are harvested at certain times. And so it's weird to look at fresh hop season and go like, oh, I'm done with fresh hops, because that's a bummer, because you got done with fresh hops when only like Simcoe and Centennial and Chinook were ready. You're already burned out on fresh hops before Crush is out and before Mosaic is out. Like, you're missing the best shit. And it's fine to like feel fatigue over that, but it's not like you don't have access to other beers in the meantime. But he's like, you really should think about it in terms of like, this is the window that fresh hop season exists in. The first 10 days might be Centennial season, and then the next few days is Simcoe season, and then it's Strata season. And if you think about it that way, not only is it like more fun, but it's also just less like, it's less muddy, I guess, in your brain. Like, it's like easier to enjoy. And I don't know, man, I'm a nerd. Like, that's how I would think about it. Yeah. It's like, I don't know why. I think a lot of people in the industry know that like certain hops are best harvested at certain times. And that's like pretty common knowledge, but it's not something that we've done a really good job of like conveying to like the consumer, public who buys fresh hops. They just know fresh hop season is fresh hop season is fresh hop season.
I like it.
Thanks, Doug.
I got his nose is very itchy. His nose.
Yeah.
Doug's eyes are glazed over.
Yeah.
He's like, whatever.
I'm just wondering if you remember the fuck up story that you were supposed to tell last time.
I thought about it so hard. Yeah. I complained about it to Ron in the car.
We couldn't.
It's
couldn't
gone.
Come up with it.
My brain immediately.
It must have been
repressed.
It must have been horrific.
Yeah, erased it.
There's a threshold where like my fuck ups get so bad that my brain's like, oop, nope, not talking about that ever again.
It's gonna come back.
Oh, it probably
Some
will.
night at 2 a.m. and then you're gonna have to write it down this time. So you can tell us.
Or I'll eat a sleeve of Oreos.
And still not remember.
Entirely.
Well, then tell us that.
I will.
But what has happened in the last week? We've had a whole other week here to come up with something. Do you have anything else? Anybody? Bethany?
I can't think of anything.
No? Okay, just none? Okay.
I'm looking at here.
I have plenty of work fuck ups, I guess. September was fucking rough. I don't know how you guys feel about September. But like,
I'm glad it's over.
I love this time of year because it's Oktoberfest.
Just so much work.
Fresh hop and but just holy shit. Tons of bad brewery news is always a bummer. None of those are my fuck ups.
But fresh hops are doing really well this year. They're flying off the shelves.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do love that like more and more people understand that this is like a cool time of year and you should go out and buy some beer and yeah.
And it's a new month.
That's true. Yep. Have you fucked up on anything, Bethany?
I mean,
No? Nothing that's worth a sleeve of Oreos?
She lives in grace. She walks in
Nothing at the circus?
No. Okay. Yeah, I thought somebody was going to fuck up so many times. I was sitting in the audience like sweating, and Fern too, she was all nervous. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I know. But no one, everybody okay.
Lived. Perfect.
All right.
Cool. Yes,
all right, Grit and Grainers. Email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and your best theories on what ghost still lingers in the basement of Hollenberry and Son. Before Babe Hollenberry opened his hop farm in 1942, he was the most successful coach in Washington State University history, although it was called Washington College back then, or Wazoo, something different. Anyway, he was the most successful football coach in Washington State history, losing only 14 games in 17 series. We went over this. So naturally, the ghost isn't Babe at all. It's some long-dead UW Delta Chi frat boy mumbling "cooged it" into the hop desk, sneezing and rattling chains every time someone mentions Huck the Fuskies. We read and drink everything we receive, and if not, we don't. And if we don't reply, we'll answer in the Lupulin Fumes on air. That was horrible. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on Amazon, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher, and please leave us a review. Also, check us out on channel 253 and gritandgrainpodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube for episode notes, beer news, and more hop selection smells. So many smells. too many smells and ethereal moments and luminous images and experiences and connections and fragile sensory remnants to choose from. Fresh hop stories and dust stories and blowing out instead of sniffing in stories and party stories and beauty and artifices and explanations and beer and sun and spray bottles and green sticky hands. It was the feeling of being outside yourself, of knowing and not knowing, a delicious failing safe and replacing it with expensive, dangerous equipment and tacos and raging fires and cornhole and hop glitter and endless red and irritable skin and the concept of science and interactivity and community and collective energy you have probably never experienced in your lifetime and you probably never experience again. Is that an exaggeration? If this podcast is not what you expected, please alter your expectations. Grit and Grain is basically the Yakima rub table in audio form. Alpha acids decoded, followed by 4 sniffs. No such thing as a bad time to visit Tacoma.
No.
No such thing as too much barley wine. Tune in next Friday for more sweet cheers.
Cheers.
More sweet cheers. Hell yeah.
Chatter.
Nailed it.
All right.
Good thing we have a second one. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Good up.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you. Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Move to Tacoma, Interchangeable White Ladies, What Say You, Citizen Tacoma, and Kitchen 253.
This is Channel 253.